Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Ask Jeff Show. We're up to episode number 59, and I have two very special guests on the show today. Two very good friends, Manny and Trevor from Unleashed Strength in Corona. How's it going, guys?
Good,
Doing
brother.
well,
How are
thank
you,
Nice
man?
seeing you.
Yeah. Doing well, man. Yeah, it's been too long. Hope to see you guys in Orange County tomorrow. It'll be good.
Oh,
Good to catch up.
I've been surfing all freaking summer, man. So upset.
There's a good swelling right now. It's only going to get better over the next week or so.
I'll bring my board down, man. It's the one you gave me, as a matter of fact.
Awesome.
From the IBC a long time ago, so I'm ready.
Let's do it. Cool, man. So the way the show works, you guys can ask up to like 3 questions, usually about 15 minutes total for the show. So let's just jump right into it. What's the first question you guys have for me?
Okay, so we'll go off of my questions. I think the first one was, what is the driving force behind you doing what you do? Right? I guess in other words, like, what is your why? Right? I guess that was my first question. So
Awesome. Yeah, I can definitely answer that. So obviously the first one is probably most people's whys, like their family, my daughter, my wife. I want to create that financial freedom. If anything were to happen to me, I want my daughter to be, fine financially at least. And I've already reached that goal because, insurance, I guess, and plus, what savings I do have. So, and I would, most people ask, like, once you have everything that you need for yourself, everything you have, for your family, what keeps you motivated to keep pushing, keep going forward rather than just like, keeping the status quo and staying the same, moving forward. And for me, like, if I got enough for me and my family and then stopped, I look at that as almost being selfish because, there's so many other people out there that need my help, and information that I have, things that I figured out can help so many people get to the same level I'm at and beyond. And I feel like I have an obligation, to share that. And in return, you get rewarded with that, a lot more options to do more good in the world. And why not me be the one to do more good in the world than somebody else? So that is really the driving force. It's not just, my family is taken care of, I'm taken care of. I like to call it like we're at like our maximum happiness level. Like there's nothing I can buy at this point that's gonna make me any happier than I am right now. Even my freedom, like I can, I go surfing every day. If I want to travel somewhere, I just get up and go travel. So there's nothing that I can buy that can make me any happier. So at this point, it's more just giving back and giving other people hope. It's you guys. Seeing, living vicariously through you guys, seeing you go on the same path that I was on and getting to where I am and, passing me up is what drives me now.
that's awesome.
It's awesome.
Heck yeah.
I totally believe in that. That's true. Like helping people is actually helping people is what drove us to start this. We were making no money. We were like working all the time. But every time you want to give up and you get that one message or the one like compliment, thank you guys, you changed my life, whatever, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to keep going. And that to this day keeps us going because I know we're doing something, and that's like the best thing. Even though, yeah, we're twice as big and all these other things, all that. At the end of the day, like it says, once you see this number, this money, this number here and there, this success, that won't drive you. And it's so true. I hear all the time, yeah, here we go. But it's so true, man. It's never enough. It's not enough.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when it comes to like what I ever thought I would make in my life, I've already won. I've already accomplished it and more. Like, I come from a blue collar background, blue collar family, city. Getting a good job and working your way up was all that was ever expected. So I've already won that game. So just playing at a higher level. I am a coach at heart. So whether I'm coaching people to be fit or coaching people to make money in their business or coach people in life, that's something that I'll do forever. I'll never retire from being a coach. That's for sure.
Yeah. Also, too, it's funny because for the longest time, like, people would always ask me that same question. They'd be like, well, what's your why? And then, so for the longest time, I would always try to boil it down to like one specific thing. But I just accepted the fact that it's not one specific thing. Like, it's usually like a culmination of things that really, is the driving force behind you doing what you do. So, like, for us, like he said, when we first started, I got into fitness because I realized what it did for me, mentally and physically and all that. So I'm like, okay, well, if this does this for me, imagine what it's going to do for others. So just, passing it on to others and, being able to make an impact in someone else's life and make a difference and, improve someone's life and also to potentially save someone's life, right? Like, that's one of the most fulfilling things ever. And also, too, like, for me, from a financial standpoint, like, I want to be able to give back to my mom because, I was raised by a single mother. So,
Yeah.
Seeing how hard she worked and everything she did and everything she put herself through and how much she sacrificed to, for me and my brother just to put food on the table and a roof over her head, it would be an absolute failure not to be able to return that to her at some point, right? So that's kind of, those are some big reasons why, we do what we do. But yeah, man, like I said, I tell you, dude, for the longest time, I'm like, okay, what's my why? What's my why? And they try to boil it down to one thing, and it's never one thing, right? It's like a culmination of things. So
Yeah.
yeah.
What it comes down to is if you're not growing, as an individual, as a business, as a friend, you're moving backwards. You're moving forward, or you're moving backwards. So to me, I feel like I have an obligation to just show up, every single day and try to improve in all areas. And then I have an obligation to then pass on whatever it is that I figure out. And as a coach, as you guys know, like when you learn something new, the best way to know like what you actually know is to teach it to somebody else. And then you also get the benefit of seeing them, take action, implement it, and benefit their life as well. So it all kind of works together, and just giving back and bringing all your friends, family, and people you care about along for the ride.
And it's funny, and you're spot on when you say that, and it's kind of rewind on something you said earlier about, and this is something I actually got from you at a mastermind, and ever since you said this, it resonated with me, because you were like, yeah, it's selfish to not want to make more money, and then you gave the examples as to why, right? And that helped me tremendously, because, for the longest time growing up, like, you're like, well, I don't want to make too much money because I don't want to be selfish. And that's like a total negative perspective, right? So when you reframed it and gave the examples, I was like, man, that's the mindset you got to have. So ever since then, this was probably like 2 years ago too, in one of your hot seats. But ever since then, like, I always give that example to anyone who asks questions about, why I do what I want to do, or why I have these desires and goals. And then so I always use that as an example. And they're like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Right? Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, people don't think it all the way through. If you make enough money just for you and your family, and then you're like, oh, I'm good, screw everybody else. It's like, then they're like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's definitely selfish to just make just enough for you and your family, and then not enough to spread the wealth. You want to make as much as possible so that you can do more good in the world. And why leave it up to somebody else to be able to do that when you have more control over, and you can do good in what areas that you're passionate about, or that mean more to you.
100%.
Yeah. So awesome. What else you guys got?
I think my next question was, well, I think you kind of already indirectly answered this. Who was, your biggest inspiration? You talk about, your wife and your daughter and all that.
Yeah, I mean, my wife's one, but my daughter, and I guess I'd have to say is more, because my wife, she's a doctor. She can take care of herself, if she needs to. But when you have a kid, you have a daughter, and they're like 100%, dependent on you, man, that it really inspires you to be, show up in your best, your best self, put in the hours that you don't want to put in, make more money, have better experiences, because that you're shaping that, human's life forever, so it inspires you to really get your stuff, your shit together, and do things the right way. I know I used to work like 13 to 16-hour days before my daughter was born. From the time I woke up to the time I went to sleep, I'm like in and out of working. And once my daughter was born, I was like, I only work 4 to 6 focused hours a day. The rest of the time is, family time, spending with her. And I get just as much done those 4 to 6 hours as I used to get done in 13 to 16 hours before, just because I was able to create systems, processes, and put them in place, hire, people to do things I didn't have to do and stuff like that.
Yeah. Man, that's the secret. Gotta have a kid, man. That's
well, before then, just getting yourself to a position to where you can find the person that you want to be with. So, because if I hadn't worked really hard before I met my wife, she wouldn't give me the time of day. I wouldn't have been able to marry a doctor. If I wouldn't already have my stuff together. So it kind of starts before then. But you guys are both on the right path. It's only a matter of time.
How much you want to attract, right?
So that's the way
that's how
it
it works.
Yeah, it's not good enough to be in the right place at the right time. You got to be the right person in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, that's right.
True that, man.
Cool. When it comes to that, I guess that was a beautiful question.
No, that was only 2. I got one more. The second one was, what do you do in terms of self-care? Because this is something that I feel has been pretty prevalent in my life at this point, because I think a lot of us could get so used to being in the grind, but we forget that, taking a step back to breathe, relax, and recharge can be just as important sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So, like for you personally, like what are some things you do to just kind of, let your mind disconnect, get away and take some time to yourself?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys probably know the short answer.
Yeah.
I go surfing almost every day. I mean, 3 or 4 times a week on average, probably. So that's the number one thing that for me, just starting off my day, just totally unplugged, just out and, nature out in the ocean. I get some of my best creative thoughts and thinking there, and leave there. Yeah, I'm tired from surfing, but I'm super energized because I'm just not, scrolling through my phone, scrolling through my emails, going through my computer, just going around and around in circles through all the different social media sites and everything else. So surfing is definitely one big one for me. I also like, if I don't get to go surfing, I like to do like the sensory deprivation tanks, like float therapy. So I'll go floating. It's kind of the same thing. There's one like in San.
Is that
It's pretty awesome. Yeah, I like it better than a massage because like you can't hear, you can't see. The water temperature is about the same as your skin temperature, so you don't really feel the water either, and you kind of just zone out for a full hour. Like that hour goes so fast, it doesn't even feel like an hour. When you're in there, and when I leave there, man, I'm like have so much clarity and so much energy, super focused. And I have ADD, so it's hard for me to get focused. So it works better than Adderall for me.
holy smokes? I gotta try that then, man. I've been hearing a lot about that lately, but I haven't really looked too much
I
into
haven't
it.
done it either.
Yeah.
And really, just for me, it's just having a way to like I said before my daughter was born. Um, all I did was think about my business all the time. From the time I woke up to the time I went to sleep, everybody I talked to was all about business. Every book I ever read was just about business. If it was a documentary or something, it would be about business or something that had to do with it. Like I didn't unplug from it at all. And once my daughter was born, it kind of forces you to like have a start and stop time of thinking about it because my daughter doesn't want to hear about my business. She wants to hear about going outside and playing or riding bikes or going swinging on the swing set or whatever and playing. So it really forced me to have a start and stop time where I was super focused on my business, and then also have a time where I can just totally not even think about it. And now, I've got to the point where I've hired a really good team, and I now just come up with strategies, help, and they implement a lot of it, and I can really unplug and get away, and not even think about my business, and not feel bad about it or guilty about it either.
Right. 100%. Yeah, it's funny, dude, because I remember when I went to Boston back in March, right? And so it's kind of vacation with my mom, right? But the thing is, like, obviously I still have Wi-Fi, I still have, service and whatnot. So I'm always on my phone. I'm still checking emails. I'm still sending stuff, creating content. So when you get back, it's like I felt like I still needed a vacation from a vacation because I couldn't really disconnect. And then this past July is when I went to the mountains, and being in the Eastern Sierras, you don't get any Wi-Fi, you don't get any service, nothing. So it's really a chance when you get back from vacation like that, where you feel just total clarity, peace of mind, recharge, and ready to just
Yeah.
kind of go full force forward, right? So, no,
And,
you're
that,
right.
and that's what surfing does for me. So like, just imagine, like, instead of waking up, open up your computer, first thing you do is scrolling through all your emails that you're trying to catch up with. Then you got Facebook Messenger, then you got some Instagram direct messages, and you're just like, oh man, all the stuff I got to catch up with today. And
Yeah.
that's what you start your day off with, rather than 2.5 hours just sitting in the ocean with no internet, no phone, no nothing, just watching the waves come in. And then when you're out and then you're driving back, then you start thinking about what you're gonna do with your day, or start putting it together. And yeah, I had that same clarity, every single time I do that.
That's awesome. There we go. That's it. I'm gonna look into that tank stuff, man. I gotta dunk myself.
No, for sure. There's a good one in San Juan Capistrano called Float Easy. So maybe while you're down here tomorrow, check it out.
I'm down, dude. I'm down. I'm gonna log that right now. Where's some good spots to surf? Do you usually go like in Laguna or somewhere else?
Usually go to Salt Creek, but I think it might be a little too big for you guys tomorrow. So Doheny is probably the best spot again.
Doheny? Okay.
With little kids, right?
Yeah.
Section, dude.
Yeah, because it's like 5 to 6 foot tomorrow probably at Salt Creek.
Okay. I know where Salt Creek is. Yeah, that's right. But that's not too far from Thousand Steps.
Great questions. I think probably we're out of time, right?
No, go ahead, man. I always got time for you.
Oh, awesome. I wanted to, how you talked about, your family and everything else. So, and your team. So my question would be like, he had a lot of great questions and kind of answered my questions, but it'll be how to lead a team, how to become a leader. Because this year, all of us focusing, it was on leadership, how to become a better leader, how to be able to talk. Communication was big for me. I thought I communicate talk a lot, but the communication is not about talking, it's about listening, understanding, being intuitive and understanding your team. What are they going through? Like almost like having a relationship with someone. You always want to, you have to understand what's going on through their mind and how they think and what they want, right? So you have to ask those questions, hoping and listen. And like, what do you do to become a better leader, to have that team, to create that life, have the freedom to be able to create and help others? Because now you're
Yep.
like doing your 5%.
Yeah, so go back to being a dad. That helps you be a good leader because one thing that I hated when I was growing up is like my parents would tell me to do something, and I would like ask why I can't do it, or why I have to. Their answer was always because I said so. That's why. And I was always like grew up like in a state of like confusion. So like with my daughter, I wanted to like overcorrect that, and I like, explain everything in detail to her why. And if I don't have a good reason, then I let her do it. So it's really about my friend and business partner Mark Overson. He has this training called executive communication, and if you go through this process, and it's all about communication. When you like have a meeting and you lay out what the strategy is, you shouldn't get one question afterwards. During it, it's fine, but everything should be mapped out in a clear, concise way that everybody understands exactly what needs to be done and when, and what your expectations are, so everybody's clear and on the same page. Because if there's any gaps in the strategy or anything that's unclear, you're going to have some people that won't take a chance at doing it wrong and will just sit there and wait until they see you, and then they're going to come get you to show them how to do it again. And you have other people that would just do what they think, and it might be wrong. So you have to just be super clear, for one, with your communication. Two is you have to, when you hiring a team is like the hardest part of running a business. Once you have your A team in place, it's life changing. Like being an entrepreneur and a business owner is so much better and more fun and easier when you have the right team in place. So don't be afraid to constantly be improving your team and hiring better talent as you grow. But once you do, you want to treat your employees better than they could be treated anywhere else. And if you don't have the funds to pay them, then you need to give them other things that they value, like recognition, and help them get better at their skills at their job, and not only at their job but also in life as well. So sending them to certifications or bringing people in to train them, things like that, but also giving them more freedom, because like just like us as entrepreneurs, they value their freedom as well. Nobody wants to clock in from 9 to 5. Once you get your company bigger, some people do have to clock in because they don't have that responsibility at those lower levels. But your first initial hires would be like your executive team in a bigger company. Like they don't have the ability to be like a future executive, then I'll be looking for a replacement for them. So when I hire like London, for example, she doesn't really have a set schedule like 9 to 5. She's salary, her hours are flexible. She works on things here and there. I can text her 7 or 8 at night if I have a question about something. If you have a 9 to 5 employee, you're not even really allowed to text them or anything off business hours. So she's salary, and I give her more flexibility with her hours, and I let her hire people that she's going to be working with rather than me hiring people and forcing her to work with them. So she's been able to make all the hires since then, and we haven't had any issues really with that as well. So it's really just giving them a better opportunity that they could find anywhere else, so they don't even ever think about going anywhere else, and keep them growing, with their skills and in life as well. A lot of times we get employees and we just forget that they're people too, and they have dreams and ambitions and stuff that they want to accomplish. And instead of taking them along for the ride, we kind of just, talk about their job and what they're doing and not doing. And they feel like they're, you're building your business on their back rather than them feeling like part of a team. They do feel like an employee. So I don't even call myself, like, I hate when they introduce me as their boss. It's like, no, they're part of my team. And I don't have employees, if that makes sense.
That's awesome. Do we have a couple minutes? I want to ask you because
Sure.
you said about leadership, but also how do you find why people? Because I was the same way. I totally believe in what you say. I hate being called a boss or call it someone employee. I want to be treated. I want to know their goals. They're where they're aspiring, and I wanted to understand this is what your goals are. My goals are the same way. Let's grow together, kind of thing. Sky's the limit. But what about don't you freedom? But what about when they have when you still have guidance in your business, this is the way we do business, and have to follow. Yeah, I want you to be creative, but this is the guidance you have to go. It's kind of like, yeah, you have freedom, but same thing, you have to follow this because this is the way we do it because we've done it and we have.
Right. So like,
right? I mean,
yes. So if you set it up properly, they'll actually work harder for you than if they were like hourly and there's more restrictions on them and it was more, like a typical job. So I set my company up this way because about 5 years ago, I did a tour at Google, and their top engineers don't have any set hours. They can work on anything they want. They can come in and leave when they want to, but it's all results driven, right? So If we're not hitting our numbers at the end of the month, well then, there's a problem. So they know that, and they are very project driven, very deadline driven, very results driven. And I don't care if we get the results that we want, and then they only have to work 3 hours a day. Hey, we're getting the results that we want. That's fine. If we're not getting the results we want, then we need to look into it a little bit further. So that's why you need to set up systems and processes in your business that allow you to micro monitor your business, but not micromanage. A lot of people, they start hiring and they want to look over their shoulder and make sure everybody's doing everything exactly right. We have manuals and stuff set up, so when people come in, we train them. But if they find a more efficient way for them to do the same job, we let them change the manual to fit the way they do, the way that they work. Because maybe they don't want to do things in the same sequence, or they want to, track things a little bit differently. As long as they have a system and process in place to get to the end result, we give them that flexibility. But everybody, at the end of the day, everybody knows what is required of them, what the expectations are, because all that has been set and has been clear. London, she's been working for me almost 3 years, and she only asked for a vacation this year. She hasn't taken a vacation. And it's easier for them to take ownership and take pride in what they're doing when you include them that way. And especially in a gym, if you guys have followed any of my systems that I teach, you can see, with like the KPI spreadsheet and stuff, you can see the numbers on a weekly basis. And if everything's getting done, then that's fine. Like if they've already called everybody and all the appointments been said and everything that needs to be done has been done, and there's like 45 minutes left in the day, rather than just giving like busy work or whatever, I'd rather that person just go and come back refreshed, ready to hit it hard the next day, rather than just like sitting there waiting for the bell to ring and then okay, it's time to go now, I can leave. Because they're not going to be that effective if there's only like 20 to 30 minutes left anyway, right? It's not enough time to get into something, not enough time to finish it or whatever. So they're just going to be doing busy work anyway, checking email or something.
So, like a small thing like us, do you recommend to go on salary? But what about they don't have the funds to be able to take care of everyone's salary? You can put everyone on salary. How will you do that? We have coaches. I'm talking about coaches.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if they're coaches, that's a little bit different because they have to be there, for a set time to train people and stuff. So yeah, so that's going to be session by session if it's for coaches. But I'm talking about like an admin or like an assistant, like an executive assistant, like I had with London, somebody that again, like that admin. If you don't have a manager yet, because you're not at that point, that admin that I hire better have the potential to be a manager. And if they'll only have the potential to be like a $15 an hour employee or $10 an hour employee and never be able to manage anybody, never be able to, like, I don't see them as an executive, then they're probably not like the right fit. And I'll be looking for somebody else, to come in. Because in the beginning you hire, like when your first hire is going to have multiple talents, right? Just like you know how to do everything. You're not going to be able to hire one person for a very specific thing. But as you grow, they hire specialists after that. So you hire the first hire could be somebody that can do a little bit of everything, but maybe they don't enjoy doing the video stuff or the social media stuff. So then they hire somebody that's just social media, and that's all but they're like the best at social media, right? So then you hire more specific after that. But your executive's got to be, multi-talented and responsible, self-starters, can meet deadlines, have a sense of urgency, can follow instructions, all that good stuff.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Glad I got a chance to talk to you guys. It's been a little too long since we caught up. Need to get up there and catch another workout with you guys.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. And I'm dead serious, dude. I'm either gonna text you tonight or tomorrow morning, and then we'll try to link up tomorrow for a session. I'm in.
Awesome, for sure. I look forward to it.
Awesome, dude. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, man. I'll talk to you guys soon.
I'll talk to you soon. Later, Jeff.
Yep. See ya.
All right, that's it for this week's show. If you guys have any questions for me or would like to be on a future show, just click the link below or above in the comments and fill out the application. I'd love to have you on the show. For now, I'm going to get back to my foosball game, and I'll talk to you guys soon.